folks, and welcome to Script Off, the show where two guys attempt to write a script and do something with it. My name is Josh Page, and joining me today will be my co-host and friend, Steve Molina.
So I just want to get this straight. Am I Travolta and you're Nick Cage, or is it the opposite?
Um, yeah, because I think if one of us is going to go unhinged, like the mad, crazy, carving the face off, while screaming, I think we could probably would be more me than you, but
Okay. Now, so you're the one at the church doing inappropriate things. I gotcha.
in the priest robes,
The
yeah,
priest
and I'm
robes.
just grabbing asses from behind and making those
Eyes
faces. So just to
whipping the
be,
head. It's amazing. As Josh said, I am Stephen Molina, and we're excited to bring this new podcast to you. You may remember us from Whose Filmography Is It Anyway, but probably not, because not too many people listen to it. So
it's okay. Some shows find life way after the fact, so it's out there.
maybe we'll have an afterlife. We'll be zombies. Um, so in this show, Josh and I decided to take a more free form approach to the whole podcasting world. We decided instead of focusing on one specific movie per week, why don't we write a movie instead? We're creative guys,
Yeah, we come up with some
we
ideas.
can come up with some ideas. And rather than
Make something with
criticize
it.
some other people's work, maybe let's write our own.
I think it's time.
Yeah, yeah. Nolan can work on his Oppenheimer movie and make millions of dollars, and we'll just keep going here and criticize him and
Yeah,
make $2. It's okay.
yeah, yeah. It's not too bad as long as we can stay broke and keep our opinions. That the world's just going to keep spinning. So why not try and shoot for the moon, aim for the stars, or no. Aim for the moon, shoot for the stars, whatever it is. We're
Yeah,
aiming somewhere.
we're going somewhere.
I
So just to clarify, as you could probably tell at this point, we have no like set formula for this. Our goal is to write at least one script every 3 to 4 months. Uh, we're going to meet once a week on this podcast. Again, there's no real time constraint either. We're just going to keep this loosey goosey here.
this is going to be the way I see it's kind of like a live brainstorm. We're going to come up with ideas on the spot, and like we have ideas, but we're going to kind of narrow down what we're doing. And each week we're kind of going to evolve and develop whatever idea we land on. And the idea is it's going to happen in real time. Each week we'll develop the script a little more, and our goal will be to get the project out there to the world somehow. And if it makes it, that's great. And if not, we're gonna
If not, on to the next one.
on to the next one. It's all we can do,
I did
uh,
you didn't watch Tick Tick Boom yet, right?
Not yet, although I have heard good things.
It is really good, but that's kind of what the end message is. You just got to keep throwing ones to the walls and see which one sticks.
And eventually you'll have a Broadway phenomenon musical.
Um, I don't know about that because Broadway seems to be dead right now. I refuse to see Mrs. Doubtfire the musical. I just do
Is
not
that a
have
real
the
thing?
strength. That is a real thing.
Oh my
Who
God.
thinks this is a good idea is beyond me, but I guarantee you'll be nominated for Tony Awards because there's nothing else on Broadway right now anyway. So
See, when they did Shrek the musical, I thought maybe we had seen it all because Seussical was one thing, and then it's kind of like okay, and the Shrek the
Shrek the
musical had.
musical actually wasn't terrible, but
It's not so much about the quality. I'm not saying whether it would be good or bad, but I just didn't we say everything we needed to say with the Shrek movies?
I think that it kind of went out of control when you started doing Spider-Man the musical, which was a real thing. And I think it was like literally $500 million that got flushed down the toilet doing it.
Mostly because actors kept getting injured. They kept falling and getting hurting themselves.
I think this is a good script right here. Just
I was gonna say, I think we got a good idea right here.
Although, did you watch Only Murders in the Building?
Mm-mm.
Okay, because there's a joke about this kind of stuff in Splash the musical.
Oh God,
I
that's
actually
really
highly
something.
recommend it. It was a really good show, actually. I mean,
I'll
it'll
have
come
to
back, but it's good.
I'll have to write it down. Where does it come on?
It's on
What's
Hulu.
the?
It's only
Oh,
eight
okay.
eight episodes. Steve Martin, and why am I blanking? Martin
Oh,
Short
I've seen
and
the
Selena
trailers and
Gomez.
posters for it. It's coming to me now. I thought that was Netflix. Okay, good. I'll make a note of it.
I don't know. I don't know about you, but Netflix just like hasn't been doing it for me recently. I don't know what it is. It's
No,
really not much. They had Squid Game, but I didn't really fall prey to that one.
no, I haven't seen it. I've been falling behind, but Netflix over the years has there's just so much content and so much of it I either don't know about, don't care about, or I just um,
We're entering the end of the
it's the
year.
stuff that I like. It's stuff I've seen so many times.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is we're entering the end of the year, which usually means we're going to get like 5 or 6 good Netflix movies, but that's about as many as they produce per year now. Because
That's what I hold out
obviously,
for.
Power of the Dog is like supposed to be an Oscar contender. You
Hmm.
got Hand to God, the uh, Italian film. I'm forgetting the director's name, but he did The Great Beauty and Young Pope, um, which I don't know if you've seen The Great Beauty, but that movie is fucking awesome.
Really?
Yeah, it was so good.
Okay.
That was back in 2013, though.
Oh, it's not a new movie.
No, that one's back then, but
Oh,
it was
so if
really
it's
good.
all right.
It's
If
on
it's 2013
Criterion.
action.
Yeah,
Oh man. You know me,
done.
Criterion. Okay.
Done.
Done. So
That's my least favorite part about this time of year. Criterion watching it just like plummets because I got to binge the rest of 2021.
I know we're sick individuals who try and keep up with the year, and so hopefully,
We are sick individuals. I'm up to like ridiculous numbers right now.
a lot. It's really a
Watched
lot.
90 movies thus far this year, like 90, 20, 21
I'm
movies.
sorry. 19,
90, 90.
9D.
Yeah,
It's a lot of movies.
I know. It,
I think.
and this year has actually been really bad for movies. So it's been a rough go.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things with the arts. The more there's more bad movies than good, so you gotta have to weed out.
The bigger problem is that there aren't that many bad movies. It's just there are a lot of movies that are good, just the average is like fine. It like we're getting better. Like there's no shitty movies, but in some way that's worse because like you need a shitty movie every now and then to show how good something can be.
You're stuck in the gray area.
Although I saw something really shitty the other day. Did you watch the trailer for this new Jennifer Lopez movie?
Mm-mm.
Oh my god. Oh my god. You gotta watch it. It
What's
looks
it
so
called?
bad. I think it's called Marry Me. And let me tell you the synopsis right now, because
Okay.
if you don't think we can sell a script, someone got this piece of shit through. So Jennifer Lopez is like, I don't know her character name, but she's like a superstar in the world of the movie. And she's about to like get married to her fiance, who's also a superstar on like a big stadium, live viewing, like 30
Ben
million people are
Affleck.
about to watch. Yeah. And all of a sudden a video comes out of like um her fiance cheating on her. So she can't go through with that marriage. So what does she do? She picks some random guy in the audience to marry. And who is that random guy?
Matthew McConaughey.
Owen Wilson. And not
That's
only that, he has a daughter who loves this woman. So, and he's a teacher, and they're going to go to school dance together and color in the rest of the movie.
this sounds like a movie from 2003 or 4, like during the I mentioned Matthew McConaughey because during his what were they in? Him and J-Lo some movie together. Um
Uh, yeah, not Fool's Gold. That was Kate Hudson. I, I don't remember which one that one was.
she's something about he's gonna get married and she's the
Oh,
wow,
oh,
I'm horrible with words.
the
She's the one who's the wedding planner. Is it
event
called the wedding
plan.
planner?
Yeah,
Wedding
wedding
planner.
planner. Wedding planner.
I'm so good with my early 2000s rom-coms, as you can tell. I mean, I've seen How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days countless times.
Let's just say it. This is actually like your favorite McConaughey. So your
Yeah,
your
I mean,
favorite McConaughey is rom-com McConaughey.
Fool's Gold is pretty close, but
And now he's
rom-com,
out there talking about running for governor
yeah,
and
yeah.
all that shit.
So the point of all this is that if movies like that can get made today, then why can't something that we pitch get made today? I mean, aside from the fact that we are not stars, we are nobodies on the market, we don't have money, but we gotta start somewhere, right? Everyone's got an origin story. I mean, come
Gotta
on,
go up from here.
this is it. So the goal today for the folks at home, if you're still there, if you haven't tuned out, like, oh, here's two more assholes talking about movies.
Talking about that Jennifer Lawrence movie. What's more exciting than that?
Wait, Jennifer Lawrence or Lopez?
Lopez, sorry.
Oh, I was
I
gonna say
I have Lawrence in my mind because I read an
those are two
article
very
about her
different
today.
people from it. It's all good, yeah. But
Apparently, Jennifer Lawrence went method for Don't Look Up and would smoke weed constantly on set.
we'll save all this for our weekly movie discussion podcast coming soon, probably 2023, hopefully. No, but so ideas, right? So what we're gonna do is Steve and I we're gonna attempt to we're gonna get ideas out, but we each came up with 3 pitches. So
Pitches.
son of a pitch, it's a very so we're each gonna share our pitches and go into it just to get the juices flowing, if you will, and not the suggestive kind, just the brain flow.
Yeah. Let's get the brains flowing. All right. So do you want to start?
Well, I opened the show. So if in Whose Filmography, Lou, and like in tradition of Whose Filmography, I opened, so you start the idea.
Oh, I get to go first. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I see how this is. Okay.
Yeah.
So picture this. We bring in Miles Finch.
What's more vulnerable than a peach?
A peach. What's more vulnerable than a peach? Check this. Okay. Call Me by Your Name sequel. We follow the peach. He's shaking in his boots from what happened the night before. It's a very classy affair.
Peach is coming home from work. Honey, hey, honey, you're home from work early. And then it's a male Peach. He's got a little tie on. He's got a little suitcase, and he's just shaking. She's like, "What happened?" He's like, "I don't want to talk about it."
Where's your pit? I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
I want to talk about it. Oh man,
that's good.
That would be really bad. Okay. In all seriousness,
I'm listening.
So, we never really discussed before we get into pitches, though. Were we pitching solely movie ideas, TV shows, or
it's for me? I mean, it's all anything goes, because I actually have a couple TV ideas.
Okay. So I got 1 TV idea, 2 movie ideas. So let's start with the movie idea, because you know what? I'm a movie guy. Movies come first to me. So I've kind of pitched Josh this idea before, but I'm going to pitch it to the world now, because why not? Essentially, and I don't have characters, I don't have explicit details worked out.
Neither do I.
Yeah. So it's just a general synopsis of what I can see happening. So essentially, you have a wannabe actor, an up-and-coming actor, whatever term you want to use, someone down on their luck, a real schlub, a real stick in the mud, and a real son bitch. And this guy is trying to get into the acting business. Meanwhile, he works like a menial job. I don't know what. Maybe he is a bartender. Maybe he works in a post-production company vault. I don't know. Maybe. Either way, he's trying to become an actor. And all of a sudden, he gets a job of a lifetime where he gets to portray an older actor on screen. I don't have I don't know about copyright issues or any of that, so I'm thinking we develop a brand new character, but he would play like the Robert Downey Jr. type character. Like his the actor's goal is to take on the personality of a huge franchise person, but they're keeping the face of the character that they've created, which, given today's contracts at Disney and Warner Brothers and all these studios, doesn't seem too far-fetched. If you're not telling, look what they did with Leia in Rogue One, or with they did with Tarkin in Rogue One. Like, they have people's faces. This is not that far-fetched. So we have a young actor who's about to become like the new Iron Man. But what does that do to his psyche? Because you're garnering fame, but you're garnering fame for being someone else. And all of a sudden, he starts taking on the real life persona of the person he is portraying. And his friends try and intercede and try and like stop this like insanity that's going on. But at the end, when given the choice between the high life and being someone else or coming back to reality, what do you pick? It's a real red pill, blue pill situation.
Yeah. And I guess it's his life slowly starts to become consumed by the role that it's affecting him in his everyday life. I don't know if he married, friends, whatever, but whoever he interacts with outside of the job, he starts to kind of lose it as he becomes this character.
So that's my pitch.
I like that a lot.
Obviously, it's a very sloppy pitch. It's not concise, but this is a brain blast here.
That's what it's all. Is that Jimmy Neutron reference?
It is Jimmy
Neutron. Good for you. I ever since you told me, I've always loved the idea. I've tried to be a positive person. If I usually don't like something, it's hard for me to describe. So I don't have those conflicting feelings like, how do I tell them it's a terrible idea? Because I don't feel that way. You know, I think it's a great idea. I think that my fear is that, all right. So my fear is that in any movie, in any pitch, that how many times have we seen something and we're like, oh, this reminds me of this movie. And like, to me, like something like Birdman comes to mind. And I'm not saying you're pitching Birdman, but like the idea is that Birdman was a famous person and now it's like he's losing his identity a little bit. So I think to stray away from familiar plots, as long as you keep it consistent and original, which I mean, I'm just saying Birdman is the movie that came to mind. I'm not saying your pitch sounds like it, but I love the idea because I don't know if you originally pitched it to me as like a cowboy character.
Well, yeah, I was just using Iron Man as like an example because that's obviously more modern and like in a way more realistic to today's day and age. Like, you know, if Disney could keep Robert Downey Jr.'s face, then like they 100% would, you know, like why recycle and recast when we can use the exact same character?
Now, is it that the original actor died, right?
I mean, I didn't cover it in this pitch, but you know, because again, I don't have everything worked out, but I was imagining like the real actor, like, again, I'm not saying Robert Downey, like, okay, that's why
I get the example before, you're saying, yeah.
Like John Wayne, okay, like we're redoing a John Wayne movie, or Frank Sinatra, redoing Frank Sinatra in real life. This person is like wearing the face essentially of Frank Sinatra on screen and in public. Like he is the new Frank Sinatra. That's who he's been cast as, like a 24/7 job. Like, and what does that do when you slowly have to like transition to being another person?
It's because they want you to be someone you're not.
You're supposed to be someone that you're not, but this person has, you know, a really
established popular reputation.
Yeah, like if you could be Frank Sinatra, could you turn that down? Like,
right, and that's the question. I think that's a huge.
And the bigger point is like to hold a mirror up to Hollywood now. Like, is this the road we really want to start going down? Because this is essentially where we are going. especially when you get these like big movie
um
franchises and contracts of like you're gonna be Iron Man forever. You know, that's why I said Iron Man, because like you're gonna be this character forever. This
it's
character will never die.
it's a great point, because unless you're retconning with what Marvel's going to do now with their multiverse stuff, is they're going to not quite retcon, but they're going to say like, hey, here's how it was and here's how it's going to be, but also we're going to acknowledge that what was is still canon, you know? So like I get where you're coming from, because it's like it's kind of like the Alden Solo
Yep.
discussion piece where it's like, you know, I didn't hate the movie. I mean, we talked about it
We
obviously,
talked about
but
it once or twice. Yeah.
yeah, but and my thing is like the dude gave it his best, but for me, and I guess what was lacking for a lot of audiences is he wasn't Harrison Ford,
Yeah.
and Harrison Ford's now an old man, so it's like where is that balance?
But that also opens up a better question too for this movie that like we're pitching, because like how does the audience react, you know, like would you personally have liked it if they put CGI Harrison Ford in Solo, you know what I mean?
Of
Like
course not. I
you
mean,
don't
I
have to
mean,
answer it, I'm just saying for
I,
the
I
movie
could,
some
I
people might
couldn't,
have, because you've
I
seen the
couldn't.
deep fakes.
I know. I don't know if I could do that for a whole movie. It'd be strange, but at the same time, it's the psychological confirmation that it's the same person. Because I just think like, and that's a point you could do. Like if we were to do this idea where like that could be an opening act where this guy's trying to get auditions and he keeps failing. And then a lot of it is because let's say he go in the first act, he goes for a role that audiences are familiar with, but it immediately gets panned by everyone because it's not the way that audiences or fans are used to. You know what I mean? You can
Yeah,
use audience reactions to build the story.
I'm thinking kind of like tonally for this, it's gonna be like something really dark but really funny that's
Oh
subvert,
yeah.
kind of like I'm trying to think of like kind of like Knives Out in a way. Like I want it to be funny, heightened, and subverting the genre. So
I was thinking Cohen Brothers, but either
yeah,
way,
okay,
you know.
Coen Brothers works too. But like I'm thinking the opening of the movie would be like you're seeing um footage from the real actors like movie, like some big huge set piece moment of like their heroism, and then all of a sudden someone calls cut, we pan back, we see like the actor getting out of character, and all of a sudden like an air conditioner falls in their fucking face. Like
Yeah,
they're
I mean that's
dead.
good.
And
Yeah,
now
that's
like we cut to the new character, like the daily mundacity of their life, like
mhm.
the same routine over and over and over again, repetition until like he goes on this like fateful audition, or she, I don't know, doesn't have to be a
That's
guy,
no, of course, but no, but this is I like where you're going with it. Um
but
I
something like
don't
heightened like that, you know. Like
yeah, yeah.
so
I think that's
like an air conditioner just like dead.
I think it would be and it would be fun to play with the drama of it because it's obviously a guy slowly, you know, it's obviously not a tragedy, but it's a tragic kind of arc. And I like the idea of making it funny and not like slapstick funny, like really like good dark humor. Um, I think there's a lot of potential there. It's an idea that I certainly could see us fleshing out. So I think that's
All right,
I don't know, that's
let's
good,
go to
man.
your idea. Let's go to idea number two.
Well,
Wow me.
you
You
said
have
I
a
was
New
more
York minute, which of course is 10 seconds.
I wrote all these ideas during the month of October when I was in full blown Halloween mode. So just um
This is Halloween. Halloween.
so so basically all to say is I was thinking I had horror on the mind obviously. So basically this one is a story of now I'm afraid because like horror is such a specific genre that it's like a lot of it's hard to be original, but here's where I'm going with this. um Basically you follow a couple, we can dive in afterward, but we basically follow a couple who have a estranged relationship, and you get the idea the guy's like a little abusive or whatever, and the opening scene is a guy and a girl and they take out a rowboat, they're like on a lake, you know. um, and the guy kind of like they start, you know, getting frisky, and the guy starts getting very handsy, and she's not feeling it. And you know how those situations go. So
When you're on a
immediately,
boat, she
yeah.
can't say no because of
So
the implication.
because it's the implications. And basically they get into a scuff while he's basically, trying to take advantage of her, if you will. And she either accidentally kills him, or he falls off the boat and drowns or whatever. And it's this horrific moment. And then this is how it opens. And then she kind of returns home, and she's like shook by the whole thing. And basically the movie follows her, the woman, being going down a rabbit hole where she thinks, she's kind of looking over her shoulder everywhere, because she thinks that she's being stalked. She thinks that for some reason he's still out there. She gets nervous when she sees, like whatever, there could be crime reports. I don't know how into it I want to get, like, because this is the kind of story where the bigger you make it, the more sloppy it could get. It's really focusing on her kind of slipping into madness, like they maybe the guy's friends show up, like very like bro dudes, like bro hams, and like she's like afraid of them because they have that same toxic male persona. So there's a lot of little themes going on. And then essentially it kind of builds, because it's like, I definitely want to do more psychological horror, where like she'll be walking down the alley and she'll think that she'll see him, the boyfriend or whoever, and it's kind of her in a state of panic the whole time. And then I have a whole ending in mind, with the cabin in the woods. It takes a real horror turn, but basically the bulk of the movie is this woman conflicted with her feelings based on this horrible event that happened.
Now,
And
is the
it
husband
ends in
alive?
blood.
It ends
Well,
in blood. How does it end in blood? Let's.
no, I'm channeling my college days. I don't know. Someone made a pitch script once, and they were like, yada 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 yada. It ends in blood. And so we used to,
There will be blood.
when we were talking about film pitches in college, my friends, like, we'd say yada yada yada. Even if it was like a comedy, we'd be like, it ends in blood. So I don't know why I said that. Basically, the ending would be that well, you don't know if the husband's alive or dead. So that's a little tricky, because the ending I wanted to go with is that she kind of gets persuaded to go with a friend to like a getaway to like calm her nerves. And while she's there, it's like I guess a female friend, whoever. And when she's there, she realizes she's been put in a trap where the husband's like Broham friends are actually setting up, kind of like, they want, how did I write it? Basically, once this plot twist reveals that they lead her to the basement, maybe, and they have the husband's corpse. He's dead, but he's all gross because he was in the bottom of the lake, and that someone fished him out. And basically they want to use her to do some pagan ritual to bring him back to life. And that's where it takes a hard left turn.
Oh man.
And I don't know how I would do the ending, because I like the idea of him coming. This could go two ways. Either he comes back as like a zombie type character, and it goes full blown horror and stupid horror, and like, I don't know, it would like excite horror fans or make them really angry. And I like the idea of being divisive. And then she has to confront him, whatever. But this is like torturous kind of ending. Or there's the ending that she gets out of her trap or whatever, and but the ritual never works. She burns it. It's going, and like that way you don't quite reveal the horror, because I like the ambiguity, but I almost feel like not saying it's like Ari Aster, but it's the kind of like formula where it takes the hard left turn in the third act, and you're like, oh, this is the movie we're watching now. But either way, I wanted to hit audiences to say, oh, if you were wondering if this was horror, it is. And anyway, that's it in a nutshell.
Now, I like the hard right turn. That got me more than the first half, to be honest. The first half,
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
seemed good, but it seems like
there's
kind
not
of
a lot of meat
vapid.
on those
Yeah, there's
bones.
not a lot of meat on that bone. The end got me. Okay, interesting. So, do you have like a like source for where this ritual comes from? Like, or do you want to make up like a whole mythology behind it?
I didn't obviously, I mean, I didn't research anything, but the idea I had would be, um, I don't know, like the idea is like if they had her tied down and they maybe like needed something from her, like her blood or something. I don't know if that's too Harry Potter, but that's actually a little bit like, and I'm thinking about it, it's a little like a Voldemort kind of thing. Either way, they would need
Hey
her
man,
for
it worked better than Palpatine.
um but that's the idea, is that like this was the plan from like the beginning, but also then I don't really know the motivation of these.
What if it, instead of like needing just her blood, it's a life for a life,
Right.
and like
There needs to
she
be
needs to
some kind of
die on a
bargain.
specific time when like I don't know, Jupiter aligns with Mars, and like they have like
Yeah,
a slab or something that she needs to die on that could like
that's
drain her blood.
that's what I was thinking.
But
Something really dark and really out there.
yeah, something like X-Men, like something like X-Men Apocalypse, even though like that was probably the best part, the opening like 5 minutes of that movie when like the blood is being drained from one sarcophagus into the next,
Yep.
something like that. The
Um,
rest of that movie can, whatever, it doesn't matter. Not even
okay.
prudent to this conversation.
No, not at all.
But
Uh,
yeah, okay, that's
it's the,
interesting, man. That's
it's
interesting.
I'll be honest, I like the pitch in my head more than like I think like it would need to be completely fleshed out in order to work, because like I'm banking too much on the twist, because I need the audience to be able to connect with this character and her mindset before we take that turn. Kind of like
Hmm.
sorry to bother you. Like that movie could have had like four different alternate endings, but like, by the time it got there, you're like, really? This is the direction the movie's going in? Like, I'm not crazy. But
Well, I don't know if he can say that anymore, but
yeah. But
yeah.
but
That guy's in trouble. Uh,
it's the kind of idea, I can't really speak more on it. It's kind of like if you can figure out the mechanisms of the
well, you
pacing
need
of
to
the plot.
flesh out the main woman more than
Mhm.
anything. Um,
Right.
and you need to flesh out the mythology behind her because it's kind of like a Hereditary, or like, I mean, obviously it's like Hereditary, but it's like that or the Big Lebowski, where like the mechanisms behind the main character are already moving, and like the
Hmm.
character needs to find it out, or in the case of the Big Lebowski, they don't need to figure it out, but there's a big, huge plot behind what the characters actually care about.
Exactly. That's why I like the idea of like setting up other characters, like the guy friends or whatever threats that she's anticipating, or actually, because I like the idea of her like being convinced that it's all in her head. Like, okay, none of this is real. I'm freaking out for no reason. And once she's calm, that's when it's like, no, wait, actually, like you were right. Almost like a Rosemary's Baby kind of thing, where it's like
It
everyone's against
sounded
her.
like I don't know, maybe it's recency bias, but it sounded kind of like the Invisible Man for a little bit.
Oh shit, yeah, that's a
The
lot.
new
Like that.
Invisible Man.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, because originally in my notes I had it that like, there's this moment where they do the ritual, and then like there's a moment where like you think it's not going to work, and all of a sudden like you see this corpse like coming back to life for a moment, and then it gets like really strange, and then but that's like in the end. But either way, I think you're right. I think I'd have to figure out both the character, the woman, and her motivations, as well as the mythology behind whatever's happening in the background. It's certainly not fleshed out. It's just what I had the idea. I was like, this could work.
Tis but a
Um,
flesh wound. So let's move on to the next
yes.
idea. So that would be me. This
Hmm.
one can either be a movie or a TV show. I haven't really worked it out 100%, but this one I was thinking like something small and like actually like doable. um, but practical and engaging to younger people because what do younger people like these days? They don't like watching movies. They like watching people watch movies, you know? So what I'm thinking is we build up a story kind of around that kind of idea. You froze.
Okay.
Okay, you're back. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So what I'm thinking is you have a lead character who uh is dying, like maybe 6 to 12 weeks left to live. And his or her final request is that once a week, uh, his or her friends come over and they watch one movie every week. Like, those are like, and total, we want it to be like 10 movies, just like the last 10 weeks of their life, once a week, 10 movies. Uh, and this character is trying to basically tell their life story through showing other ideas. So you can, I mean, again, I don't know if it's a TV show or a movie, but you have basically an intro of this character saying, like, this is one of my favorite movies, here's why. And then they pitch, then they watch the movie. We can kind of watch the characters watch the movie for the first time. They can be engaged, they cannot be engaged. Maybe there's one movie that they don't like. Maybe the first week doesn't go too well.
Hmm.
Second week does. I don't know.
Hmm.
Maybe there's an asshole character who's texting in the middle of the movie, which, spoiler alert, people who do that, fucking assholes. Get off your phone. You're watching a movie. Um, but then I'm thinking by the second to like movie number 9, like the lead or the person who's dying like dies during the movie. They have the funeral, very sad, all that, but the gang gets back together to watch the one final movie, and they're just left with the silence of having to wonder why they were told to watch this movie.
Now they're recommended. Oh, are these movies recommended by the person who's dying? I know you would
Yeah,
probably you fledged on it. I like that. Um,
because how many times do like you want to show people movies, and it's like, this is why I like it. This is why we're watching this movie.
um,
But
are
like,
they? Yeah,
yeah,
keep going.
no. But then you have the added drama, like of like this person is dying, so like how much of the people coming over is it like an obligation versus like to sit here and watch these movies versus like I actually want to watch these movies? How many people are like really absorbing the message of what a movie is versus
Right.
like what they're just watching on screen? You know what I mean? Like, it's not so much just watching a person. I mean, it is watching a person bare their soul through a medium that they love very much, which we can kind of gauge. Movie
Hmm.
fans can engage, but it's also watching people who are not cinephiles try and engage a movie as well. I mean, I haven't
Um,
worked out the 10 movies that you would play throughout the one movie or TV show, but like, that's the pitch.
I mean, I have a couple questions regarding the structure of it because it's like, are you talking about real movies or would you invent 10 fictional films?
That is a very good question.
Because I don't know how copyright stuff works.
Well, I'm not saying we would have to show the movie itself. Um, because if you, I feel like there's a way to write around saying what a movie is without actually saying what a movie is. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, because I think right, because you're not going to show clips of
I
Pulp
don't,
Fiction or something well known, you know?
I mean, if a studio decided to pick up a movie and like in their milieu is like Warner Brothers bought this movie and like we can show The Wizard of Oz, like, cool. maybe we could show clips from it then, but like otherwise we could talk about, we can write around it and be like, this movie has like one of my favorite characters, like the
I
way that
almost
he
like
takes the oil is great, you know.
I
The way
I
that
almost
witch
like
melts is hilarious, you know, right around it.
the way they just pull apart the scarecrow and they pull out his stuff, and then the
Took his
monkeys
arms
are
and they
jumping
threw him
around, and
over
it's kind of
there.
one of the earliest signs of horror. And they threw him over there, they threw him over there. So I actually like the idea of creating fictional movies that are reminiscent of real movies and then having discussion pieces, which leads me to my real big question
Hmm.
is what's the structure of the story? Like, are we following characters while they're watching the movie,
I'm
or are they
thinking,
discussing it afterward?
well, that's why I was thinking TV show, because TV show, it kind of makes more clear cut sense. Because them watching the movies is like a smaller section of the
I was gonna say,
larger thing. It's not really about watching them watch a movie, which you can cut to like scenes of them watching the movie. Like, cool, if we were lucky enough to get copyrights and like we could show like Alien, watching people's faces as the alien pops out of the chest. It's always like fun to do, you know. But it's more about like, again, I haven't worked it all out, but I don't know, episode 1, you begin with them like driving to the house of the dying person. uh you see a line of cars just like going over there, and they get out, and you cut to like a close up of the dying friend talking about the first movie. And then afterward it's like you can show a couple scenes of like them watching the movie, and then afterward just like how the see, like, I don't know, I haven't worked it out, that's what I'm saying.
I like the idea a lot. I don't know if you remember, this was years ago. I don't know if it really ever took off. There was a YouTube show about people getting together in a diner, and they got together in the same diner every episode, and they would discuss movies. There's like four
My
friends,
Dinner
and they
with
would
Andre.
it was yeah, basically. I mean, it was like four or five friends, and they're sitting around a table, and every single episode, there were little short episodes on YouTube. They would literally just debate and talk about movies the way that like film fans do, you know?
Yeah, something like that. But
Um,
you're dealing, I like the idea of dealing with one person who really knows what they're talking about, and then people who don't really know what they're talking about,
I was
because
gonna say,
it's, how do I say this night? Like, you and I talking about movies, great. I love it. I don't want to change it. But it's also nice to hear people who don't watch like movies very often, when you can like hook them into like
I
watching
know,
something that they would not normally watch
I
because
know,
of like a dying friend. That's powerful. Like, if they
it
had to
is.
watch There Will Be Blood, like, not a film fan, like, what does not a film fan think of like something like that?
And I really like the idea of having characters who are not film people, but they're doing watching these movies out of respect to their friend and like their takes on it.
Yeah.
Like if someone introduces them to a slasher or like a violent movie, and then like one of them was like who doesn't like horror at all, like reacts negatively, but then they discuss it and they're like, well, this is why I find it's important, and then they talk about it. Because obviously, as you know, we've learned, you know, you can create many great relationships and discussion pieces based off of things like movies.
And
So
now that we're talking about it more, I could see this as like a like a mockumentary type situation too. Obviously, it's like fake because we're scripting it, but kind of an office like situation. Not that it has to be funny. I would obviously like humor in it, but like,
yeah,
you could have cutaways to talking heads of like, this is what I thought the movie really was like, and like shit like that.
it's good.
And we
I
can
think
play
this
around
is
with like, I don't know, if we wanted to. This is, again, this idea just came to my head like 2 seconds ago, so I haven't worked it out at all. But like,
mhm.
the dying person can be kind of like a Jesus parable, and like the friends around them are all his apostles, you
Sure,
know.
run with it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of potential.
Hmm.
You could even truncate it to a film and just keep the format as a flow. However, like you can do it in multiple ways. You can break it up, but that is the premise of the movie. I think it's good because it's endearing, it's heartwarming, but you can also be as like various as you want with like being cynical or being funny or whatever. But at the end of the day, you're still telling an endearing story. And I think that's important.
Yeah,
That is certainly not what I had pitched in mind. I just was going for blood, and
there will
um,
be blood.
it ends in blood. But while we're
Drainage, Josh. Drain drops, boy.
really a lot, but while we're on the discussion, it's funny you bring that up because I'm just gonna segue this. Unless you have more to say, I want to segue this way to my next idea. So it's funny you brought up a film idea because I have one. It's right now. It's just untitled student film sketch comedy. I don't even think it's a sketch comedy. I don't know why I wrote that. But the concept is this would have to be, oh, that's why I called it a sketch comedy. So the idea is it's episodic. This would be TV.
Is that what episodic means?
Uh, and basically it would be short sketches of parody of all things like film related, from the perspective of film students. Really, the idea is like this is a really loose idea, especially because again, like referencing like real movies is like tricky. But like the whole idea is every episode you're following, like let's say, because it originally started like, and I don't know if we talked about this when we worked together, but like the concept of people who were like a show about like almost like PAs, like people. So like this is how it started in my head is the idea of people who have just fresh out of film school. They're hopelessly optimistic, and basically,
Idiots. Yeah.
you're right. And so like I originally the idea is that it's them every week would be them on a different film shoot doing different jobs, and then
So, does this follow a set cast, or is this like a Twilight Zone situation where an anthology where like every week you follow someone brand new?
well, I mean that's the thing because like I think the idea in my head evolved into the same characters and they're kind of evolving as they go along. And basically, it's them trying to get film jobs, but they're constantly talking about like their love of the craft for the industry. But it's almost like a very trying to think of a comparison.
You know what it
Um,
sounds like to me? Kind of like Party Down.
yeah, Party Down's
Like
great.
it is great, but it's kind of like these down and out people trying to make it in Hollywood, or it doesn't have to
Whatever.
be in New York, Hollywood, Georgia, wherever the fuck they make
Hmm.
movies nowadays. Um, on the green screens, wherever those are,
Yeah,
um, the volume, but kind of down and out kind of
yeah.
characters trying to make it, but maybe idiots as well. I don't
All
know.
right, and I like the idea of them just constantly realizing like, hey, we're not gonna make it. Like, and maybe there's like an ending where like one of them gets an opportunity, but it's not almost like not quite. It's Always Sunny, but I'm trying to think of like sitcoms where like you think things are gonna go well and then they go back, revert back to normal, and they plummet, and everything's horrible again.
There
But
are
it's
mostly HBO shows at that.
but that idea I didn't because I had the two ideas meshed together. The sketch comedy parody is the idea of satire of all things film fan related.
Well, sketch
um
comedy, that's why I thought maybe this was an anthology situation.
the idea with the kids, you're following the same guys or same crew of people. I don't know how much material you can do with that because the idea I imagine is they're in different film sets, they're doing different things every episode, but I don't know how much longevity there is with that. Like I don't know how much those characters can grow, unless you put them in different situations. But this it was kind of blended like because I
Well, a
originally had it as
PA's
a
life is a completely different situation every day. Like
right,
I've been
exactly.
there. I know. It
And that's why I
sucks.
like the idea of like having like And it depends on the director. It depends on like they get to a set and they think it's going to be great, and then it's like a drill sergeant type character telling them like go get coffee. Like the coffee's not good enough, go get it again. It's like you follow one character just trying to get the right coffee the whole time, you know. So you can play, you can have fun with it. I don't know how much you can run with that idea.
One character,
Um,
like a box episode where someone is just doing Firewatch the entire episode, sitting in a hot
yeah,
truck.
yeah.
Because I've
Even if
had to do
it's
that shit.
yeah, so have I. And so even if you do it for one season and you're like, here are all the stereotypes of being a PA, that was what started. I had it like kind of merged with the idea of a if it wasn't to follow continuous characters to do sketch comedy where you do a similar idea, it's all film tropes, but it's literally like Twilight Zone, like different characters,
Yeah,
different situations, and you do all things that are mocking the film industry and like the tropes of things that mocking every dream, failure, and attempt that film students go through as they slowly learn that the film industry is an ever-growing nightmare. That's how I wrote it
I like it. I like it.
Anyway,
Very relatable.
yeah, I don't
We
really
could
have
definitely
much.
write off of experience.
I was gonna say I don't have much to harp on except that like it would be easy for us because we've done it to put our heads together for that. But
Okay, cool.
yeah,
My last idea, and this one is like really out there. It's okay. Let me start by asking this question because this is an important part. Do you know who Nikita Khrushchev is?
mm-mm.
Okay. He was a Soviet premier. Like he was a real person. He was played by Steve Buscemi in Death of Stalin.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah. He was a real person, obviously, like leader of the Soviet Union for like a decade and a half, maybe a little less. I don't remember exactly when he took over. Uh,
Chairman of the country's Council of Ministries from 1958 to 64.
yeah. So not even a decade. So no, a little over a decade. So there was a point in 1959 when he came over to America and he took a tour of a bunch of cities in the country. Um, but when he went to LA, the thing he wanted to do most in the world was go to Disneyland. And his own security team would not let him. Now, if you know anything about this man, which obviously you just saw, like you just heard of him, you don't, but he was like a little, like he was a short, stubby, like kind of man with a huge anger issues. So the entire weekend he was in LA, he was just like throwing a temper tantrum in his hotel room about how he couldn't go to Disneyland. And like Walt Disney had everything prepared in case he did show up. And Walt Disney has like a quote of like, I was excited to show him my submarine fleet. Because here he is, the Soviet premier. But I just think it would be so funny to watch like this, powerful man, quote unquote, just like being trapped in a like hotel room in LA, refusing to go anywhere because he won't go to Disneyland. I just think it would be funny.
So, would you use the real character, the real person,
Up
or
in
you're
the air,
basing a character
I
off
would
of that?
be I'd probably be basing characters off of it because I do not think we would get the rights to use the term Disneyland
But
or
what's
Walt
the
Disney.
yeah, you'd have to make up names, but obviously paint the world for the audience to make them know, to make them go, oh, hey, this is supposed to be Disney. Like, I totally get where
Yeah.
you could be coming from, but what's the structure of the plot? Is it him in the hotel room the whole time? Is it a one camera, or well, not one camera, but a one setting?
Box movie.
Yeah,
I haven't really worked it out. Uh,
because
like with the rest of the ideas, it's not really worked out entirely. But
okay,
I'm picturing like you want to see at least one or two settings he goes to that are extremely lavish. Like on the LA trip as well, he got to go to the MGM set where he got to like chill with Frank Sinatra and Humphrey Beauregard and like these huge Hollywood stars at the time. So we want to like
Mhm.
capture like him being someone that like the world wanted to impress. Meanwhile, like now he's just trapped. Like,
Why is he there if he doesn't want to be there? He's there on business, like he's there.
well, he came to the United States to talk to Eisenhower, um, obviously, but because he was in the United States, he was doing like a tour throughout the country.
So this is just part of his job.
I mean, he was chairman of the Soviet Union. He was trying to
Right.
like just go see different cities around the world. You know, he got a
Mhm.
first rate tour of everywhere.
So you're setting up a character who travels a lot, basically.
He doesn't
Um,
travel a lot. I mean, he's the premier of the Soviet Union.
well, I'm thinking, right, I know. I'm thinking the structure of this, of like the fictional version of what you
It's
would do.
literally like if you could flip Coming to America on its head, that's what it would be. Like instead
Okay.
of a a young, excited man coming to the United States and willing to participate in everything, you're dealing with like an old crotchety curmudgeon who like is gets to do whatever he wants, but like doesn't want to because he is like he's a petulant child at heart. He just wants to go to Disneyland. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it's like.
He wants to go to Disney,
That's the
right?
whole
Is that what you're
thing.
saying? He
Yeah.
wants to go?
He's literally like a child in a toy store holding his breath because all he wants is this toy, but he can't get it.
Now, why can't he go in? Why isn't he allowed in?
Well, I'm thinking like we could do an I'm blanking on the name. Um,
Like, why would the character not be allowed to go?
well, in real life, he couldn't go because they couldn't guarantee his safety. His own personnel wouldn't
Oh, so you
couldn't
you
can
play off that. Like
so you
he has
play off
maybe
of
he
that.
has because
But
I'm
if you wanted to
immediately
do an extraordinary angel situation, the Buñuel movie, I don't know if you've seen that,
I know of it.
but like if you wanted to do that kind of situation of just like I just can't leave, you know, something like that, you could play off of it.
Because I like the idea of you'd have to have other characters, even if he just has like a security guard with him.
Yeah. Plus his wife was there. But
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, you could have a wife character. I'm imagining at least one dressed to the nine, like a very silent,
general.
stoic, yeah, who like a security who's with him, and they have like feuds because like he tries to leave and the security guard I'm spitballing here, but like the security tries to stop him or prevent him. He keeps hitting these obstacles where he's like almost has to come up with a plan or a coup to like whatever. Like you could think of any stereotypical scenario, like he slips something in his drink to get him to fall asleep so he can sneak out of the hotel, like stuff. You can have fun with it, but I like the idea of like banter between him and someone who's like literally preventing him from going.
Yeah. No, I like that because the point of this is also kind of like what I was saying uh before, like something so real and yet something so absurd and stupid. Like this
Yeah.
is like a Veep situation of like you're just like shouting at one another, saying all these horrible things, but in reality, nothing really fucking matters. You know, it's
Right.
like so stupid.
And I just got back from California, so I'm like that's where my mind is pure, California. I'm thinking of
Californication.
Californication, man. I love it. So but my mind's even going to like ideas of like the security guard being like, listen, we can't get you into whatever park this is. He's like, but there's a carnival nearby. Would you want to go to that? And it would be, I'm just, again, just improvising, but like, he stares at them and it's smash. And he's like, fine. He's like, but I'm not going to have any fun. And it smash cuts to them like on a roller coaster or a Ferris wheel. And he's just sitting there making the same face, like
Making the
pouty
same
face.
sourpuss face, but on his head it's like ears, but it's like triangles instead of circles.
Exactly. But like you have a montage of like a clown giving him like cotton candy and he's just angry. And he's just like he's talking about like begging to go back so he can like watch his show because there's some show on at the hotel that maybe
Yeah.
he's following.
Something
You
like
could have fun with
stupid
it.
like this. That's what I'm saying. Something really stupid.
You have there's so much potential for the idea.
Yeah.
Um I think you'd have to figure out again like a story structure, like how much of this is taking place and in where and in what locations, you know.
Yeah, but that's the
Um,
pitch.
I I like that a lot. My last idea is also a pretty wild one. It's very out there. Um, okay, so just bear with me.
Bear down for the
Bear,
crazy
bear
pitch.
it's a bear dance.
It's a bear dance.
So
Yes.
I'm picturing. So this the only way this is going to work is if it's an animated series.
Oh boy.
So right now I just have it called Mark of the Multiverse,
Oh, you already have a name.
but it doesn't have to be the name. But the idea is you take an ordinary business work related scenario, typical office, standard employees, business stereotypes, and you follow characters in a very ordinary day. This is episode 1. Characters, introduce them, flesh them out, no idea who any of them really are, but there's one employee there in the scenario named Mark, who basically looks like an alien, but basically he's like a squid type alien who's so absolutely not human, but he's got some human features. Like maybe he's got like eyeballs or whatever, or maybe not. Maybe he just looks like a giant squid alien, but like no one refers to him as being what he is. Um,
So they
anyway,
all think he's human or they all act like he's human?
there's no dialogue about it. Like they just reference Mark, and like Mark is a side character. Anyway, no one ever addresses his non-human appearance or his abilities. Like I like the idea that he can like do things like move things with his mind, or like you give this thing power. It seems really silly. It's gonna be hard to hook people, especially if it's a show. Um, and it's a very short runtime because people are gonna be turned on or off by this thing immediately. And so that's what I'm guessing. Um, the next episode is that you play out the same scenario, but what happens is with each episode you change themes, animation styles, and you just basically you take the same story but you evolve it a little bit. Anyway, every episode kind of plays out slightly the same but caters to various genres: horror, comedy, romance, heavy drama, sci-fi. And in a sci-fi episode you'd get a reference to Mark's backstory, which is a reveal that this whole series is a simulation from Mark's home planet. But that's like a later reveal. The concept is that it's kind of like satire of the everyday working experience. And they don't have to be identical plots. I just mean like identical plot things that happen. Like you create familiarity with the audience, but Mark is never really addressed. He's just there. And then
Hmm.
you kind of and the problem with it is because I don't have any other characters fleshed out, it's very hard to see where this could go. But I like the idea of playing with different genres and doing different things every episode to give people a little bit of everything. The only problem I see is it's throwing a little bit too much of everything at the wall to see what sticks. But I like the idea of there being some explanation at the end. Like if people get invested, that here's kind of like an idea of what these are
So,
all maybe real people, but they live in Mark's world. And
okay. Interesting. Interesting. So,
um, it's just it's just a lot.
I see this. I see this. It's definitely a clear vision here. So I don't want to like step on anything.
No, I really just beyond what I said. I mean, I don't really have. I know like the structure, but I don't know anything about the story. So just hit me with whatever you have.
No, I mean, it depends on the way in which you want to run with it, but I'm thinking of kind of a tweak instead of like a simulation. We just don't address his appearance at all. Instead, like focus on like what if the business that they were in were like multiversal insurance agents? Okay. So like you just follow like how much money people are being given, how like people are trying to scam the system or whatever after a superhero fight in the multiverse.
There you go.
Uh, and you're just dealing with these insurance claim like people like they go to like New York City after the Chitauri invasion and like how much is being divided into who, like, you know what I'm saying, something stupid
That's
like
good.
that.
Well, it's good because you're playing into the silliness of the structure of the show, you know?
Yeah, and it can kind of have like the office kind of vibes where like these are office dwellers and they're going to have office problems,
And it's just their
and like that's going to
regular.
be the basis of it, like the fact that
Mhm.
it takes place in a larger universe where like there's a multiverse and like the insurance claims are about like these seismic like Thanos snapping type situations, like you're just dealing with like they stole my stapler, you know, like
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to nail. Because the fact that there's all this crazy sci-fi stuff happening, but that's not at all what the situations are about.
my stapler, my stapler.
Yeah, like Office Space in like a Rick and Morty type setting, I guess.
Yeah, but that's why I'm thinking like if you want to do that, then you got to be more concise in terms of like what the job that they're doing is.
That's brilliant because I literally just I like because I think the problem I always had with this idea, I wasn't even going to pitch this, but like the problem I always had with this idea is that it's there's no it wasn't clear enough. Like I knew I had specifics in mind, but like because like I was like, oh, it's a general office setting or whatever, it still doesn't give reason as to like, oh, it's a simulation. Like, sure, that's just where I went with it, but I like where you're going with it because it immediately expands the universe from the get-go. So people kind of like won't be as taken aback when it changes genres and stuff. It doesn't even have to change, but that's what I
No, but
like.
like it can change. I'm not saying every episode changes the animation style, but if you wanted them to like go to a different multiverse and the animation style were to change, kind of like Into the Spider Verse, how like, you know,
Peter
Spider
Porker.
Ham's, you know, Peter Porker's reality is different than everyone else's. Like he has the ability to float when he smells pie, you know, like so
That's
stupid like
yeah,
that.
that's the stuff I'm playing with because I like the idea of giving an explanation that for why things are wacky and why things are out there.
Yeah. So I'm thinking more structure, but you know, more structure so you can unravel the structure.
I like that. All right.
Because if you build up rules and then pull away from them, you're good.
No, I think that's good. I think I like that you gave me more ideas about it. That's good. That's good. Yeah, that's anyway, it's kind of endless potential now that you're actually playing into the first idea. I think that's cool.
The universe.
But yeah, that's
Good
it.
news, everyone.
Good news. That's
Who
Futurama,
likes good news?
right?
Everyone.
um all right, cool. So
Those are the 6 ideas. We made it
let
through them. This
we're
was
gonna
a
run
heavy pitch sesh here.
yeah, let's run through them one more time just quick. Um we've got the actor idea,
Yes,
the
the actor face idea at
actor
number
face.
one.
Yes.
At
We
number two, we have the couple on the rowboat turned into a ritual of death and zombies and murder,
to be
most foul.
determined. Yep. And and then
At
yep, no,
number three, we have a dying friend showing his friends uh, his or her favorite 10 favorite movies,
mm-hmm.
only to die during movie nine. Rough day, rough
That's
stuff.
rough stuff.
No, but it's going to be beautiful because
No,
I was thinking about it. Like, what if the person planned it that way to like go out on movie number nine, like while one of the favorite
so they
characters is dying?
wait, so they killed themselves?
Maybe. But like, how cool would it be if like they're watching Star Wars and while Yoda is dying, like that person just fades away with Yoda, you know, something like that. Uh, anyway, Idea number 4 is the film students slash PAs, the
Mhm,
PA sketch show. Rule
mhm.
number 5 is Nikita Khrushchev blowing his stack because he can't go to Disneyland.
Dictator Hotel.
Digging around a hotel. And idea number 6 is Mark of the Multiverse. There's a title and everything.
It's wild.
Wild stuff. I
Um,
think we went all over the place for this one. This was good.
I think that was the goal. Yeah, I like that we tackled different we have different genres, we have different types of things, we have films, we have movies,
I think
and
that's important too,
shows.
though. We need different genres. Like I, you know, I think that should be a rule. If we write a drama for one movie, the next one cannot be a drama.
Oh, absolutely. We'll treat it we'll do it like whose filmography style. Like we'll do a contrasting, well, we'll try and do a contrast to the idea beforehand.
Yeah,
This is
cool.
this is a good start. All right. So I guess for the folks at home, thank you for listening. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, and
Let
if
us
you're out
know
there at
what
all.
idea you like, what ideas you don't like, or but be nice about it. If you don't like an idea, you don't
Yeah.
need to be like this sucks. You can maybe give constructive criticism. I don't
Well,
know.
when you throw yourself out the internet to say tell us how you feel, it's a gamble, but
Well, I want to make it very clear from the onset. Legally speaking, if you give us ideas and we use them, I'm not giving you credit. I'm sorry, but you're writing in a YouTube comment section. I don't know if that holds any
well, we could
law.
give a special thanks if someone,
Yeah,
hey,
you'll get a special thanks. You're not getting producers credit. Okay, let's not get
that is true.
crazy.
That's actually a good disclaimer
You're
because
not
you
getting writing
know
credit. You're not getting producer credit. You'll get a thank you.
we'll make
Okay.
these disclaimers at the end of every episode.
Because I just want this known. I don't want
It's not a
I just want to make it
collaborative.
very clear because like if someone does put something down, I don't want to I will be appreciative, but I also do not want someone coming at us with a lawsuit because we used their idea or didn't use their idea. So this is Josh
We'll
and
figure that out down the
I's
road.
podcast. So we're gonna write what we want to write.
We're gonna
So
figure it out. And listen, we can all be friends here. We'll figure it all out down the road.
why can't we
Um,
be friends?
why
Why can't
can't
we
we
be
be
friends?
friends? Anyway, so we'll find out more of where we'll reveal more of where the people can find us once we have more social media set up. But in the meantime,
We
I don't
Josh and I,
know
in the meantime, will
else.
discuss what the next. In the next pod, we will hopefully start writing one of these bad boys. We will figure out which idea we want to go with on the off shoot. Maybe in the future we'll have polls or something up, but since this is the first episode and I don't know if anyone is watching or listening, it's going to be rough. So, Josh and I will pick the first idea. Uh, Not idea number one. I'm just saying, like, we will pick one of these 6 ideas for
We're
the
gonna
next one
agree. Yes,
on the
correct.
off camera. We will
And
agree to one of these. So why don't we sign out for now? Josh, where can the good people find you?
um, you can find me on Letterboxd under Beesh, Beesh is exactly how it sounds. I'm also writing for CBR.com, comic book movie website. If you type in, well, if you search authors and you look up Joshua Page, I'm currently writing for them as of the time of this recording, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
But
Look at this. We got a genuine writer on this podcast.
we're trying.
A
He's trying.
genuine writer.
Genuine. And Steven, tell the people at home where they can find you.
Well, not writing. So
Don't worry about it, man.
you can follow me on Letterboxd or Instagram at Mr. Filmart, and you can look at my merchandise on
Oh
Etsy,
yeah.
Mr. Filmart shop, if you
Look at
want, if you are so
that.
inclined. If you don't, if you like my art, and
We got a
that'll just about do it.
genuine
A
salesman.
genuine, and I'm thinking maybe starting a YouTube channel of my own. We'll see.
You should, man. You got some real talent.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. All
All right,
right.
folks. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, I don't have a sign off line.
That's all, folks.
Oh, gosh.